Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the many different steps in the complex drug discovery and development process. In drug research development, the patient is the main focus. It is to help a patient overcome a disease and improve their quality of life. The drug development process is designed to ensure that innovative new medicines are effective, safe, and available for patients in the shortest possible time. The first step in drug development is to discover the best targets for treating or preventing a disease. Targets are usually proteins in the patient's body which are associated with a disease or proteins in microorganisms causing a disease. The challenge is to identify which proteins are relevant and, more importantly, confirm their role in a disease. A single protein may transmit messages to several other proteins, sometimes in multiple pathways affecting their function. Knowing how these pathways work and interact helps to identify the most appropriate target for a drug. The pathway approach allows researchers to better understand the mechanism of a disease. This knowledge, together with a desire to address unmet medical needs, determines the priorities in drug discovery. In drug discovery, several methods like high-throughput screening and computer-based designs are used to find chemical compounds or biologics that bind the identified target. If a compound modulates the target in a way it is expected to alter the disease, the so-called hit will be refined to improve its safety and effectiveness, eventually becoming a drug candidate. Discovering and bringing one new drug to the market typically takes an average of 14 years of research and clinical development efforts and costs around $2 billion. Of 10,000 or more hits tested in early drug discovery, only one may eventually lead to a drug that reaches the market. In the late preclinical stage, further experiments are conducted on the drug candidates to ensure it is safe for patients and has the required pharmacokinetic properties, like appropriate absorption and metabolism by the human body. These experiments are executed with extraordinary diligence to minimize any risk to human test subjects. Animals play a critical role in the drug discovery processes as well. Although much research and development can be done using various experiments or using computers, complex disease mechanisms can often may be understood through the use of animal studies. Also, governments and regulatory authorities require that medicines be tested in animals before they are tested in humans. Clinical trial programs consist of several phases, each of which is focused on evaluating drug safety and effectiveness or efficacy. Information on ongoing clinical trials can be found at www.clinicaltrials.gov. In phase 1 of clinical trials, the drug is usually tested in a healthy volunteer to determine its safety and pharmacokinetics. In phase 2, the drug is given to a group of about 100 to 250 patients with the disease to evaluate its efficacy and to determine the optimal dose. In addition to that, the safety of the drug and its side effects are evaluated, as this may be different in patients compared to the healthy volunteers tested in phase 1. Researchers also conduct trials called proof of concept or POC trials, which are often a mix of phase 1 and phase 2 studies. A group of well-defined patients is treated with the drug candidate to provide an early indication whether or not it actually affects the target in the intended way or has beneficial impacts on the disease. The data from phase 1 and phase 2 studies provide the scientific confidence necessary to continue the development of the compound in larger clinical trials. In phase 3 of clinical trials, 1,000 to 3,000 or even more patients are recruited for research with the investigational drug. Phase 3 clinical trials are undertaken to confirm the effectiveness of the new drug, monitor side effects, compare it to established treatments, and gather additional information to allow the drug to be used safely. To bring a new medicine on the market, every new drug needs to be registered by the health authority. Data from all clinical trials are collected and compiled into a document called registration dossier. The registration dossier will include efficacy and safety data to support the final intended use of the drug. The dossier is then customized for different regions and countries across the world to meet the requirement of health authorities. This is a crucial step to ensure that patients all over the globe can access the innovative medicine that have made up through the complex drug discovery and development process. Once the registration dossier is approved and the product is launched, several activities will continue like drug safety monitoring, which is mandatory. Post-authorization safety updates, annual reports, and any additional information required by the health authority must be provided at refined intervals as long as the drug remains on the market. Often, Phase 4 clinical trials are initiated to gather additional data not collected in the Phase 3 program. This may include efficacy, safety, additional benefits, risk information, as well as pharmacoeconomics.